Today is an amazing day. It is an opportunity for us to see the rise of a community. You know, I was once told that it is important to be at groundbreakings, and it's just, if not more important, to be at ribbon cuttings. And it's interesting to see where we're situated today, because we certainly stand at a crossroads of two projects that HEHT has been involved in. You see a building behind us that we have completed and that will receive its certificate of occupancy in the next month or so, and residents will be moving in to change their lives. And yet today we are here for another effort to do a groundbreaking to ensure that that community continues and it grows. I think the weather today is a perfect metaphor. We have so many times where the clouds cover and people's lives are obscured and moments in time are changed and diminished for them. But we know that the sun will come with our efforts, that time will change and opportunities will grow and people will have a chance to make their lives better. The question is are we a part of that or are we not? And it is amazing to work within this community, because communities are only built by the fiber of the people who live within them. And I will tell you, having served on the board of Hollywood Community Housing for quite some time, and having worked in many communities, there are very few communities, if any, that have come together like this one to make a true difference in the lives of people that live within their communities and are their neighbors. I would like to give you all a round of applause, because the work that you do changes lives and makes people's lives better. So thank you very much. I know he'll be introduced later, but I can't walk away from this podium without a recognition of my dear friend and our great Councilmember Curren D. These projects don't exist without the work of government and without the coalition of partnerships that it takes to make them happen, and you'll hear more about that. But it starts at the ground level with a council office willing to take a step forward and recognize that there are needs within their communities and finding ways to address those needs. And no one is better at that than Curren D. So thank you, Councilmember. We really appreciate you and the work that your staff, I know you don't really always do the work, but your staff, the work that your staff does is amazing. So thank you so much. We at Hollywood Community Housing engage in communities to make a difference. And it is important that we have these moments of celebration, not to recognize the work that we do, but to recognize the reasons why we do it. And the reason is that there is such great needs in our community. That we see rising costs of housing, we see increasing homelessness, we see displacement of people in ways that we have never seen before. And the little bit that each of us can do to make that difference, to change the trajectory of someone's lives and give them a difference, in allowing that sunshine to occur in their life, makes our days full. It is a pleasure to be here today to try to create that fulfillment in some folks' lives. You being here and being part of this means that you too are invested in that endeavor, and that your work today and your presence today will change lives tomorrow. So I want to thank you all for what you do, and we will thank our partners and we will thank the people who make this happen, but it does start with council offices, and it starts with individuals, and it starts with businesses, and it starts with people like you. So I want to welcome you and thank you for being here. Thank you for this journey, for joining us on this journey, and thank you for making a difference in the lives that we will touch tomorrow, because your presence here will certainly do that. And with that, welcome, and I'd like to turn it over to our Executive Director, Sarah Lenz.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the project and how we pulled it all together, and then we'll have a few other speakers speak as well. And so I just want to say the same thing that Jerry acknowledged. Working with the council members team has been fantastic. We really appreciate every single staff member and the council member. They've been great to work with. Other stakeholders in the community, the Central Avenue bid, we look forward to working more closely with you in the future, and you've been great to work with in the past. And then I also want to give a shout out to the architect. He really worked over years and years with us to refine the design, and I think the rendering, hopefully, is just a slight glimpse of this amazing building that it's going to be. So shout out to Kilifer Fleming. John Arnold is a partner. We've got Morgan, we've got Allison and Diganit. And so big shout out to Killefer Fleming. Your work is beautiful, and we really value the really close journey we went through to design this amazing building. So thank you. So through the process, two things became really clear. And one was that we wanted to honor the memory and the life of Florence Mills. So Florence Mills was a very famous jazz singer who died sadly at the age of 31. And but in the past there was a theater on this site, and the theater isn't there anymore. But the memory of Florence Mills is going to live on because we're going to name the building after this famous jazz singer, Florence Mills. So that's really important to us to honor her memory. And then another important thing to us is the housing crisis today. Like, what are we going to do to help address the housing crisis? So we're building 74 apartments, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments, and we're setting aside 19 of the apartments for formerly homeless veterans because we want to make sure we're inclusive. We want to make sure we're serving the needs of the public. And so we're really excited to take a step forward and to make a positive impact on the affordable housing crisis that we're experiencing in Los Angeles County. So in the future, as we envision this property and we think about the residents who are going to live there in the future, we want to do 3 things. We want to connect the Florence Mills, the famous jazz singer, hopefully to the Jazz Festival, one of the signature events in CD9. So we're kind of hoping we might find a way to connect the 2 things. And we're going to have 2 really large murals. So we want to engage with the community to figure out what should those murals look like. So right now they're images of Florence Mills, but we want to engage with you. Like what would be the ideal images to have on these 2 buildings to enhance the artistic vibrancy of this community? And then the last thing is we're going to have 5,000 square feet of commercial space on the ground floor facing Central Avenue because it's an increasingly vibrant commercial corridor, and we want to be a part of that. So we want to keep building on all these positive trends that are taking place. So none of this would be possible without the support of our financing partners, and there's a lot of them. It's sort of a layer cake of financing, and we pulled it all together. Early in the process, there was the Low-Income Investment Fund that helped us come up with the resources to buy. There's 6 parcels that we assembled here. So thank you to the Low-Income Investment Fund for helping us to acquire the sites. And another organization, City Community Capital, gave us a grant, which was very generous of them. They have a Bring Them Homes program, and so since we're serving veterans, they gave us a grant to help cover the cost of acquiring these sites. There was the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco, the Housing Authority. So Tim Young is here. I want to thank the Housing Authority. You guys are great. We really appreciate your support. We've been working with you for many, many years, and we want to thank you. And there's also the LA County Department of Mental Health. So we've got Adrian and Yolanda here with us from the LA County Department of Mental Health. So these are all really important sources of financing. We're not going to hear from our biggest source of financing, but that is equity from the syndication of low-income housing tax credits. We have Debbie Burkhardt from the National Equity Fund and Kamara Green from Freddie Mac, and together they're going to invest $25 million in this neighborhood, which is a lot of money, and we really appreciate it. So other financing partners include the city's Housing and Community Investment Department, the Home Depot Foundation, and Union Bank. Representatives from each of these financing partners will speak later, so I'm gonna sort of, we'll have them speak later. But now I'm really honored to introduce Councilman Curren D. He has been dedicated to public service since 1993 when he joined the Inglewood City Council, and then he later went on to the State Assembly and the State Senate. He was elected to represent the New Ninth in 2013 and was overwhelmingly re-elected in 2017. Since being elected to represent CD9, Councilman Price has focused on building a better future for local families, which includes economic growth, affordable housing, reducing homelessness, and defending the rights of immigrants. He is leading the renaissance in CD9, and we're really thrilled to partner with everybody on his team. So please join me in welcoming Councilmember Curren D. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, for those very kind words. You read it just like I wrote it. Oh, just kidding. No, seriously, I just want to, it really is an honor for me to be here today in the new ninth as we celebrate an exciting project. And so, Sarah, thank you for your leadership. Also, Jerry, good friend, and the board. Let's give it up for the board of Hollywood Housing, because these things just don't happen by themselves. I'm elated to break ground on this new 74-unit complex that pays homage to Florence Mills. As some of you know and heard recently, Florence Mills was a talented singer and dancer who was one of the sparks that ignited the Harlem Renaissance back in the day, and she was certainly a source of inspiration here on Central Avenue. Her abilities would go to inspire generations of African-American artists and pave the way for African-Americans in mainstream theater. And so this is certainly a perfect homage to her groundbreaking presence. It's only fitting that we name this affordable housing project that sits on the historic Central Avenue corridor for someone who had such a big impact on families reaching the American dream. When people now, in the years to come down Central Avenue, we want them to look at the mural that's going to decorate the building and remember the warrior who believed in equal opportunities and respect and dignity for all. Today we honor her legacy and look ahead to a bright future where CD9 families of all backgrounds have a chance for the kind of life she fought for. It is this type of venture that I want to imagine for our children, our families, and our seniors. That's one reason why I fought hard to increase the minimum wage to $15. That's why we banned the box from job applications, so that people with criminal records would have an opportunity to have a fighting chance to get a job. And that's why projects like this are so important to me. In fact, this is the second project that Hollywood Housing is breaking ground on in the 9th District. The Paul Williams project, right across the street, is almost complete. And again, as a result of my office's collaboration with the developer, a majority, I'll say it again, a majority of the households that will be moving into this new complex are from the 9th District. Yeah, you can clap on that. We made it a point to work closely with the developer to inform our constituents of via social media, e-blasts, and on the ground that this project was coming and they should gear up for it. You know, we found out in the past that didn't always happen. Projects would come to an area, citizens were not aware of it, and all of a sudden it fills up with folks from other parts of the city. I mean, we know housing is important for everybody, but we want to make sure, I have a selfish interest in making sure that folks in CD9 are able to take advantage of these opportunities. Now we prepare for the next endeavor in hopes that local neighbors can benefit. 74 units of housing that we're going to be breaking ground on today will complement close to 1,500 affordable units that are going to be coming online in CD9 over the next several months, next several years. I'm pretty optimistic. Okay, years. Well, not all of them will serve families and veterans like Florence Mills. They will help ease the current housing crisis. And we know it's a crisis at all levels. So I'm proud of the progress we're making here in the new ninth, but I know that more needs to be done because our families are struggling and they need a lifeline, which is why my office has organized a series of educational workshops where families can obtain information on affordable housing projects coming in the city, not just in CD9, but citywide. These workshops are meant to ensure that our families are well informed and know what it takes to qualify, as well as how to apply for these new housing units. In fact, we have our next session happening this Saturday, May the 2nd at Maya Angelou School, beginning at 10 a.m. Some of you may see the flyer. So encourage families and friends to come out to learn of Saturday, March the 2nd. But I want to thank Hollywood Housing for their support and for their commitment, again, not just to our community, but to housing in general. And I want to thank them for their support in helping these workshops come about. It's my hope these workshops will support individuals and help the communities in which they live learn to work and play and pray, because we need them all. Again, I just want to thank everyone involved in this project, the sponsors, the financing group, the community activists who are working hard to see that this project comes online by 2020. Are you ready for that? 2020. So everyone is welcome to come back. We'll be serving families, veterans, and serving our South LA community. So again, thank you for your time. I hope I'll see you at the workshop on Saturday. And again, we appreciate your support and participation of this exciting project that's going to really be transformational, not just on Central Avenue, but in the 9th District. Thank you.
So it is my pleasure to introduce Ed Gibson, the Director of the Development and Finance Division at the Los Angeles Housing and Community Investment Department, or HCID. Over the years, Ed has led an impressive array of housing programs and initiatives for the city. He also previously worked for the Housing Authority, the LA Homeless Services Authority, the Community Redevelopment Agency, and the California Housing Finance Agency. So he is like the expert of experts when it comes to how to finance affordable housing. He has a depth and breadth of knowledge, and I am not kidding when we say we can't do it without the expertise and the dedication of Ed and his team at HCID. They're really fantastic. They're a key financing partner. We really appreciate it. So Ed, you want to come on up?
Good morning. Thank you all for having me here today. It's a proud day. Every time we come to a groundbreaking, it is a wonderful moment. I do want to make one clarification. I was in the mayor's office and I had oversight of LAHSA and the Housing Authority.
Gotcha.
But the others, from the redevelopment agency to the state agency of housing to the housing community investment, that's me. You're correct. You're correct. You're doing your math there. Very good. I just want to say, this is always a momentous occasion, and one thing I do know for sure is you really don't want to hear me talk, so I will do my best to keep it brief, but I want you to realize one thing. These projects are transformative for communities, period. They're transformative for lives, exclamation point. They don't come together without a great deal of tenacity. So every time I get to a groundbreaking, it is about tenacity, because it took a lot to get here. There's a lot of partners associated with this, and I thank them all for coming and joining. The agency itself and the city has almost $12.4 million invested in seeing this come to fruition, to making sure we serve the community out here. We also want to make sure that, you know, when we're dealing with a project, it's got to have vision. We see what's going on there. We see the vision going on here. These are all key things, because at the end of the day, tenacity, vision, persistence brings hope, and it brings housing, and grateful for that. I do want to say thank you to my team. I don't know if they're here, but they might be working actually, because it's a little crazy right now. Georgina and Art from our office for all the work that they've done, and other team members who've worked with them. And I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to the council office. Thank you to Hollywood Community Housing for the work that you continue to do, and all our investors, and all the people who come together, from the construction crew to the investors, to the people who came out to support the project when everybody didn't want to support the project at first because they didn't understand it changes lives, brings hope, and brings housing. So thanks to all of you. Thanks.
So representing Home Depot is Siobhan Harden. She joined the company 15 years ago as a cashier, worked her way up the corporate ladder, and is now the manager of the store in Ladera Heights. She also serves on the district community as the district community captain for the past 2 years. She's a proud mother of 3 children and a strong leader who understands the importance of balancing work and family life. So please join us, Siobhan.
Hello, everyone. I'm so honored to be here today on behalf of the Home Depot and the Home Depot Foundation. It's so special to be here to see the Florence Mills apartments get underway. I want to start by thanking all of the veterans here for your incredible service to our country. We are so honored to be a part of this project, providing permanent homes to those that have served our country. For those of you who do not know, the Home Depot Foundation has a nationwide commitment to helping veterans and ensuring that they have a safe place to live. We work closely with organizations like Hollywood Community Housing, as well as thousands of other nonprofits all across the country, to build homes, improve homes, and make homes accessible for our nation's veterans. Since 2011, the Home Depot Foundation has donated over $250 million to projects similar to this one. In 2018, the foundation committed an additional $250 million to veteran causes, taking the total to $500 million by 2025. When the Home Depot was founded back in 1979, we had 8 core values that still guided our company today. One of those values is giving back to our community. Giving back to veterans is personal to the Home Depot, since more than 35,000 of our associates are veterans or active duty military. And we believe that it is our duty to give back to those who have given so much to protect us all. Thank you.
Parika has walked a mile in our shoes since she used to be a project manager for another nonprofit affordable housing developer. We really appreciate working with Parika and her team at Union Bank because they're in tune with the needs of affordable housing developers. Union Bank is working side by side with us at Hollywood Housing by providing the construction and the permanent financing for Florence Mills apartments. Parika?
I'll have a very brief message of mostly gratitude. We're really honored to be a long-term partner in Florence Mills. And so I want to thank Sarah, I want to thank Victoria, and also the Board of Directors of Hollywood Community Housing Corporation for trusting us, and we're going to do our best to make sure that that trust isn't misplaced. I think this is our first partnership with Hollywood Community Housing in over 10 years. So we want to be a quicker repeat effort. So Union Bank Community Development Finance values leveraging the best of partnerships and the best of talents to create affordable housing for sustainable communities. And we definitely found that in Hollywood Community Housing, and all of our financial partners, including the City of LA, the Housing Authority, and the many state sources such as the tax credits, and also the Section 8 as well. As Mr. Gibson said, it really takes tenacity and ingenuity to put these projects together, and all of these partners really incite us to come in and be kind of that final source at the very end. So it's really their risks and their work that incite us to continue to do that work. With that, speaking of ingenuity and speaking of tenacity, I want to also thank Jessica McKenzie and Jan Michael Medina here. They're the ones that really worked on my team to close this project. And they're also residents of the City of LA. They really care about the community, and all of us here at Community Development Finance does too. Thank you.
I would like to take a moment, and thank you for that segue, because we'd like to take a moment to recognize a couple of our board members who are here, Bonnie Sang and Amy Bernier. And I would also like to thank the staff of Hollywood Community Housing. If you could raise your hands. The work that you do is invaluable. All of you who are here from Hollywood Community Housing, raise your hand. And I especially want to thank Sarah Letts, because her leadership is providing us a new vision and a new place to go. So thank you, Sarah, so much for all the work that you do. I'm about to turn it over to the close, but I do want to also thank those folks who are working. And we're going to turn this over to your hands and to the people who are going to do the construction here. And the work that you're going to do is truly going to take a vision and make it a reality. So thank all these gentlemen as well.
I guess I just have a couple more thank yous. Barker Management is our property management company. A bunch of you here, thank you. And then Lee Andrews Group. So let's thank both those organizations. Stephanie Graves, Ricardo, Alicia, everybody's done a great job. We can't thank you enough. And then as Jerry mentioned, the contractor, this is when the rubber hits the road and all the exciting stuff starts to happen. So Walton Construction is here today. I think there's Lee Jackson and Randy and Joe and Blake, and we got to thank all you guys. It's a long road ahead of us, 20 months of construction, but we're excited and we're very grateful for all the hard work that brought us to this moment and all the hard work ahead. But we're very optimistic. This is a joyful day for many, many reasons. And I'm grateful for everybody who came out today to celebrate. So thank you very much.